So I'd like to hand over to our next speaker. So I'd like to call here on stage Domenico Montano, who is General Manager of Human Company.
Buongiorno.
Ritornerei.
Bentornato.
Le vostre voci.
Lo so.
Buongiorno.
Ritornerei.
I vostri sguardi.
E quando tu sarai.
I vostri sorrisi.
E scoprirai.
Non vediamo l'ora di rivedervi.
Che nulla è cambiato.
Vi pensiamo tanto.
Che sono.
Tanto sempre.
Illuso di sempre.
We miss you. You Open Air, l'aria aperta, a braccia aperte.
Iniziamo con un applauso.
Okay, so we start with a round of applause for our next speaker. So, Domenico, well, tell us a little bit about the Human Company, since I do think that your hospitality pattern and model is very peculiar. How did you start and what kind of hospitality do you have? Well, with pleasure. This is a business that started in the 80s, in 1982 more precisely, in Valdarno, and I'd like to share an anecdote because we had 4 different families from the textile sector in Prato. They saw this opportunity, they were on holiday, they decided to acquire also a campsite at that time. So the idea of a campsite and the idea of the pine wood, for example, by the sea, etc. But there was not enough money at that time for this acquisition because those venues were very profitable at that time. So they wanted to find a cheaper solution, that is to say, well, Fili di Valdarno, well, a small village in the Chianti area in Tuscany. Well, there was no sea, right? No, it was in the in the landlocked area, and they were very brave. It was like in the hinterland, and after some years, the German tourists became very important, increasingly important. They were part and parcel of this kind of business, and they started promoting that as one of the most authentic experiences. A new idea of having holidays, going on holiday, not just with the pine wood in Canadian tent or something like that, but it was like about spending time on holiday in a different way. And this family also focused on authenticity. They were very welcoming. They organized meals, and the textile company was shut down, right? Yes, of course. And then everyone started working on that, well, within the family. So these are the typical Italian stories, success stories in terms of entrepreneurship, etc. So a lot of innovation in terms of services. And then they were also lucky enough to have German tourists with very high quality standards compared to Italy. So they understood this kind of need, and they were, well, it was a trendsetter in that sector, right? Exactly. So knowing those tourists was really paramount. Yes, of course. So they could also raise the bar and put and position all the service standards at a very high level. So today this is acknowledged by many people. And then from this village in Fili di Valdarno, well, then there was a story after that, a family story once again, when we had some acquisitions, and then we also have new purchases. The open air tourism market is really skyrocketed. Well, there is a lot of things to do. There is a huge gap between traditional campsites and innovative people. So, please think about those going there in a campsite with their roulotte, for example, and then they put it like like that for 5-6 months, and then this is quite difficult also in terms of attracting people, not just on a national but also on an international level. So how many facilities do you have as a group? Well, 11 facilities in Lazio, Veneto and Tuscany, and the pipeline is based on 3 new openings, Eraclea, in this area, which is a noble area, so to say, for the big tourist villages in Veneto, for example, and then below Jesolo, just to make it clear. And they also expanded a lot in this area. Well, we had very forward-looking entrepreneurs and businessmen. Carbini was one of those who looked beyond, and he wanted also to set up everything, and today we are there thanks to him. So these very forward-looking people, in Italy, we tried to understand how this job could be done in a proper way. Well, in Eraclea, what kind of investments do you have? It's not about the camping site from the past. So what kind of hospitality it is? Well, I mean, how did you update this kind of hospitality? Well, I'd like to overcome these different commonplaces and cliches. We talk about glamping, right? No, glamping means a glamour and camping site, well, together, but they do not give back the idea of a tourist village. And then, tourist villages are also places for mass tourism, so to say. Today, tourism also redefined everything. We have a customization. Today, we have different services that are catered to the needs of the customers and clients. So this must be accepted by them, and therefore we need to be very careful about that. And we wanted to have a good size. We talk about 100 hectares, 97 hectares, where we will also have some mobile home, as we call it, and then we also have a water park, 9 hectares in total. But this is not the most important and interesting thing. There are also other important things. For example, over 40 years, we had 2 different villages, in the Garda Lake and in Florence also. So this is a sector that is not so much well known, and I also read about a financial transaction in a magazine, and where we have a lot of opportunities, etc. So the village also defines different standard places, and we have like emplacements and lay-bys that are double as big as the traditional ones, 80-90 square meters, and the user can also go there with their camper, for example, and then can go there. Or maybe there are also some wall structures and facility. No, actually not. There is no concrete, there is no cement. Well, other materials are used, and then they also have to remove some of the parts, because some of them are kind of a hindrance. But there are also many housing possibilities with all the mobile homes and tents, and the idea of having a widespread hotellerie, so temporary structures and facilities, the idea of dismantling the area, but also swimming pools, for example. Yes, of course, and the water park. All of them have a water park. Yes, this was one of the distinguishing features. So we really focused on water parks, and this was also a need. In Fila del Vardarno, we don't have any sea, so this was the only opportunity. There is a pine wood, but this is what we have. So there are beautiful woods for an important nature-based and nature-interested tourism. But we also heard some analysis before. So the users of villages, they are dissatisfied with the relationship and the ratio between supply and demand, or the promise and what is given. For example, the idea of going on holiday should also give back to the customers the opportunity to have something that goes beyond what the operator gives. So in Eraclea, just to share some figures, what kind of, or at least two questions. First of all, how many residents do we have and how many tourists do we have a day? And then in terms of welcoming capacity, well, the welcoming capacity is 12,000 people, 14,000 people maybe in terms of receptive capacity, but we want to have enough space. What do you mean by residents? No, Eraclea is a very small village, a very small municipality. No, Eraclea, the village is within the municipality of Eraclea, and we will have up to 12,000 people at the same time. But how many people with overnight stays? Well, 12,000, and then people that will come there just for the day, right? Yes, we are talking about village guests. They can also have kind of a daily entrance, and then they can make the most and make use of all the services that are offered. So then we also have camping in town model, which is a different model. We are not talking about villages. They are quite close to the city or town center. They are open, well, 12 months a year. You can also go to the market or to the mini market, to the swimming pool. So this is really catered to the needs of the local area, the neighboring area. 160 million was your turnover this year. Do you have something in the pipeline? So do you have a vision for the next 3 years? We have a very clear, crystal clear development plan. This is quite well structured, well, in terms of EBITDA, with the new 2 openings, Eraclea and Cavriglia. We think we will achieve this goal by well, in 3 years, so more than 300 million, and then 300% of EBITDA, more than that, right? In order to do that, do you use also funds or financial resources? So your relationship with potential investors, how does it look like, or what does it look like? Yeah, there were some transactions that had been already finalized by these days. There is also a new transaction with the 2 institutional funds, that were also mentioned with the new, with Heinz and with the Crescita, and they will be supporting us in this huge financial effort in order to boost our development. So everything is family run, but we also have an important part of the management. We want to get ready for the next few steps. So what are the investments that you are envisaging or you are implementing for the next 3 years? We are talking about the 5-year plan. 360 million, 180 for Eraclea, and then the other ones, the remaining part for the small perimeter, so for the updates, etc., that we will need to do in Cavriglia, which is the other village. It will be a theme village based and focused on sports, and this will be also very interesting. So we have a breakdown between the extraordinary part and the ordinary part, so the investments of assets and equity. And do you think you will be also listed on the stock exchange maybe in the future? Well, my personal opinion, my 2 cents. Well, today we have a lot of things to do, and we need to strengthen and consolidate these type of holidays in a key sector with specific ancillary revenues. The idea of getting listed on the stock exchange, well, this is something which is quite far away, I think. When we talk about the private equity, I think it is not really in due time now. It is a little bit too early. We would like to focus on the new concept of holidays and vacation. Another important job we will have to do is working on the idea of brand, because this business started with tour operators, so everyone applied that to the brand, the distinctiveness of the brand. This was something that was done by them. So today Well, we can also have a partnership with these tour operators. They are quite helpful. Yes, just to give you some benchmarks. In 2019, we had 30% direct and then 70% mediated with the tour operators. Today, this is the opposite. 70% is direct. So customers getting in touch directly with you, and you are the salespeople. Yes, so you do the selling, the sales. Yes, there is still a lot of room for improvement. Is there a lot of customer retention, customer loyalty? Yes, there are a lot in Filiere Valdarno, for example, where these families is still there, and they were the forerunners. The lady or the madam is 95 years old, and we have the third generation of Dutch and German tourists that go there to say hello to her. So this is really something that bears testimony to our authenticity, and this is also an upcoming trend. Well, in order to have growth in Italy, well, from your point of view and your vision of the market, do you think that greenfield is easier than brownfield, or maybe the opposite? Well, in the real estate, brownfield is something where you have to pay something in advance, right? So repositioning in some cases there was like a power station. We will create also a thematic village where we have a lot of contents, since we have a lot of vegetables. We have also a lot of nature, so flora and fauna, for example, so a lot of different characteristics. So we are working on that, not just on a European level. So today sustainability is a business, and this is not just a network to stick to the rules and the directives. It is part of our DNA, has always been part of our DNA. So we will be focusing on that. And what about well, foreign countries? Before taking a look at the foreign countries, since France is quite mature, so this is the second or third most important player investments vis-a-vis Italy, which is lagging behind. Before taking a look at the foreign countries, we need to take a look at our territory, our areas. We have plenty of opportunities, and we wanted to tap into those opportunities. Very interesting. Thank you. Thank you very much for the insights. Thank you.